Hey guys, Forest Skycap here. I'm just doing a quick little tutorial over how to get, in my opinion, the smoothest or best looking slow motion using Sony Vegas Pro 12. And I say, the best possible, or possibly the best, just because I see a lot on YouTube, how to make smoothest slow motion and how to make best slow motion. And I watched, some of those tutorials when I was first starting out with editing, and they really didn't help me. They actually led me in the wrong direction. I used to use Twixtor and programs like that, but I found a different way to get the smoothest slow motion. I'm going to share that with you guys today. So let's go ahead and open Sony Vegas Pro 12. And I'm going to be using Battlefield 4 footage. You can do this with Call of Duty, and I'm sure pretty much any other game that's FPS based, it'll be similar to this process. Basically what we're going to do is try to get a smooth slow motion, sorry, I'm opening a new composition here, trying to get a smooth slow motion reload. Alright, basically I use the 720 60 frames per second because I record in 60 frames per second and I export it in 60 frames per second, but I usually do it in 30 just because it takes a little bit less time and you don't really see the difference on YouTube. For my settings, you can see really quick, 1280, 720, fix that according to the size of your original composition or video, and you see it's at 59 frames per second. Stereoscope off, 1 square, 8-bit, best, Gaussian. I'm going to click just the source media to better match project or render settings. We're going to click OK. Go find your clip that you would like to edit, drag and drop it, or import it using this way. Go to import, go to media, and then you just have to find it and click on it and open it. It's pretty easy to do. So let's get right into this. We'll drag this down into the bar. Now, just to clarify, this is a pre-rendered clip. So what I did is I went and took a video of me just basically shooting and then reloading a couple times with my primary weapon, which is the L96A1 sniper rifle and the CZ75 pistol. So it's unedited besides the color effects and everything else, which you can add later with Magic Bullet Looks or any other color correction plugin. So to get into this, we're going to find where it's, or I guess the sniper rifle refers to reload. Let's see. We're going to put this on good auto. Don't need the best quality right now. Alright, here we go. So I'm going to stop it here, take the shot. Okay, it's perfect. So right now I'm just going to move that down there, move this over here. I always like to sync it up with this. Oh, and you know what? Totally pulled a new move right now. Before you edit the clip at all, before I even do this, splitting it. Basically what you want to do is click right click, click properties, disable resample, and I choose reduce interlace flicker, but as long as you have maintain aspect ratio off and disable resample, you should be good for slow motion. So now we're going to go back, we're going to split it back to where we were. I like to just give myself a little bit of room. Depends on how you edit, it's completely personal. So I'm actually going to do this on fast. Alright. So back a little bit there, but basically what I'm going to do right here, I'm going to slow down the part where he kicks the, what would I call that, the bolt up and then back. I'm going to slow that down, and you get that nice little smoke effect right there, so it works out. So basically, start off by splitting where you want to start the slow motion. And what I like to do is use a combination of using control, click, and dragging to create slow motion, as well as velocity, because velocity helps a lot. You can get that real smooth slow motion with velocity and the combination of the two. I'm going to go forward as much as I want. Make sure it's not too many frames, and if it is too many frames and you slow it down too much, it might be a little bit, or if it's not enough frames, I'm sorry, excuse me, and you slow it down too much, it will not look as good as if you had more frames and, you know, not as slow. So we're going to go ahead and move this. Let's see, that's as far as it goes. So we don't want to go as far as we can with the first slow motion part, just because you want to ease into it. I will do a different tutorial on how to change the pitch of the audio so that it matches and you don't get this kind of scratchy noise when you slow-mo your clips. And actually, you know, you can just go ahead, delete that if you want to. If you're going to put music over it, there's really no need to have it. Alright, so we're going to get that bullet popping out. It looks really nice. I'm going to slow this down just a tiny bit, and then get that bullet flying. Alright, so now that we got the bullet kind of flying out, I'm going to go for as close as we can get to all the way slowed down. Let's see how that looks. Okay, we might need to slow it down just a tiny bit more. Alright, perfect. So now, we've slowed down this clip. We're going to go to right click, go to insert, or remove envelope. Choose velocity right when I want it to get pretty slow. So what you're going to do is you're going to add a point and then click on the point that you want to add the slow motion, or you want it to kick in at, and add another point and drag it down. You don't want to drag it down too much. Normally I would say with velocity you would use, you know, like 30% if you're only using velocity, but if you do that here, the clip will get really, really choppy and you just won't be happy with the results. So let's see how this looks. Oops. Alright, nice. So we got that really smooth slow motion. Let's get it. Make sure too, when you use the combination of the two, when you hold control, it's pretty simple to understand. When you hold control and you drag it to slow-mo it, or you drag it back in to create a faster clip, it will compensate and match up with the next split part, as long as the split part was, you know, part of the original composition, part of the original video. But when you add velocity, it actually slows it down to the point where it doesn't match up and you need to extend it without holding control. So we're going to go see where the bullet is here. It's down in the corner over here. So we are going to go ahead and extend this right about there. Let's see how that looks. Add the other end where we're doing the same thing. We're just gradually I'll make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see it. We're basically just gradually going into the slow-mo, and it adds for a really nice smooth effect. We're going to bump this up to around 100. Alright, we don't want it to go right up to 100. Alright, so right now what we have is no slow motion, slow-mo, little bit of you know, kind of a segue into the bullet flying. You get that, you know, kind of quick speed back on. And you see the bullet drop, and now we're going to move on to the second part, which is getting the reload. Alright, I'm going to slow it down because I want to see his hand grab it. Let's see, maybe view preview full. Alright, so now I want to be able to see the bullet, or at least see the empty clip. We are going to go to where his hand finally drops down below the screen. We're going to just drag and drop, or not drag and drop, but just drag. again, that is control, click, drag. So you get that little squiggly mark. That's when you know that you're good to go as far as slow-mo or speeding up the clip. And make sure that the little box that you see around these arrows down here is facing the correct way. If it's facing this way, it's going to edit this clip. If it's facing this way, it's going to edit that one. So I don't want this part to be too quick because it'll look abrupt. It won't be as smooth. So we'll get it to there. Slow it down just a tiny bit. I'm actually going to cut a little bit of this out just because it's somewhat lengthy. You don't really need that as long as it cuts perfect. It should be good. I'm going to lower the settings. Okay, so that's where he slams the clip right in. We are going to go ahead and start the slow-mo right there, and we're going to go with regular control drag slow-mo, not as far as possibly can go. And then we are going to get to this part. We're going to drag it as far as we can. I'm going to zoom in here, insert envelope, velocity, and we're going to do the same thing here. So right when it gets here, you're going to want to slow it down. Make sure that it's a gradual decline to the slowest part of the slow-mo, because if it's not, it's just going to look, it might not be choppy, but it'll seem choppy in the scheme of things. It won't flow well with the clip. So let's see it. Very good. So I'm going to drop this down to about 58. We'll go through it like this. Probably raise that up to 67. Again, you just got to go by ear, or rather by eye, how it looks, how it feels. You're gonna have to make that call for yourself. I can't do a tutorial that would help you there. Let's see how this looks. For some reason it's not right. Alright, I'm gonna slow it, speed it up just a little bit. Okay, perfect. So we got that nice little transition. I'm going to stop it right there, and then I'm going to go ahead and drag that out a little bit more, drop this down to 58. We want to make sure again it matches up with the clip. Probably bring that up to 75. Want to make sure that when it hits that end, it's inside matching, or at least a little bit before this frame right here. Once you get that all queued up, it takes a couple tries, maybe. Every once in a while, it'll take a couple tries to get it right. Let's see how this looks. Let's spice it up just a little bit, give it a little bit of a transition up here, back down here. Always remember to add a point on the velocity timeline in front of the area or behind the area that you want to slow down or speed up. So we're going to take a look at this. We're going to have to play like this. And we get that nice, smooth slow motion, and when he cocks it back into, he's slamming the clip in, making sure that it's secure inside the gun. I'm going to slow it down just a little bit so you can see the clip going inside of the rifle itself, and then I'm going to leave it right here where he actually puts force onto the weapon, and you can see, there's movement in the gun from how he's pressing it. And we're going to. So you saw that. Just a little bit of slow-mo right there, and kind of brings it down, brings it back up. Then I always like to slow down the last little part of it. I'm actually going to go back here. I'm going to do this again, segue into the super slow-mo, if you want to call it that. And we don't want it to end, the slow-mo to end right there. We want it to end a little bit before. Let's spin that out. Okay, that looks pretty good. Look at it one more time. Alright, great. I'm gonna go ahead and back here, chop it right there, and we will be done with the slow-mo. I am going to go ahead and render this. Let's see if it'll take too long. If it does, I'm gonna have to stop the video and I'll be back, but you guys won't even notice that. We're going to go to 7, it's 7, oh no, it's 1080. We're gonna go to 1080, we're gonna do 30 frames per second. Actually, I'll do it in 720. Go ahead and name it. Now, if you guys want to look at my settings, I'll go ahead and show that to you really quick. I'll go into the window in a second, but we have 192 kilobits, I think, per second, 48,000 hertz, 16-bit stereo. Going into video options, so you see all this stuff right here is pretty basic. I got mine set up to 16, and then video rendering quality, on best. You want to make sure it's on that. You go ahead and save yourself a preset. Don't worry if it doesn't match the project settings, because realistically, if you are trying to export in 60 frames per second, you're going to have to find another place besides YouTube to actually get 60 frames per second, besides when you're editing, which is where it helps. So we're going to go ahead and do this. We'll see. Alright, this will render pretty quickly, so just wait for this. And again, if you have any other questions, please do not hesitate to leave a comment down below or send me a personal message on YouTube, and I will be happy to help you if this tutorial did not clear things up or give you a better idea of how to do some smooth slow motion. If you're trying to do smooth, reloads or throwing grenades, whatever it is, I hope this technique helps you. I'm going to go ahead and we'll watch this video. Alright, so minus the audio, that was pretty good. Video player is messing up just a tiny bit. I don't know why it's messing up like this. I apologize. Hold on 1 second. Maybe if I close out Vegas. Alright, so right there we get the smooth drawback and then the bullet going into the slow motion. It's a quick effect, but people will take notice, and if you have, a climactic point in your montage or whatever it is that you're going to use this in, this is really good to set it up for. If you use dubstep or music like that and there's a drop, this is always a great build-up. Pulls out the clip, nice slow-mo there, we get slower on the slow motion there, and then he knocks it back, and that is it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Like, dislike, depending on how you like the video, and leave me some feedback if you have any tips. Thanks again for watching, guys, and have a good day.